الكرام على تشريفهم لنا اليوم للاحتفال بأوسكار الاستدامة في منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to this gala ceremony of the 13th cycle of the Arabia CSR Network Awards. My name is Ibrahim Mohammed Amin. I'm the Facilities Management Director at the Escort, and I'll be delighted to be your co-host during this ceremony. The Arabia CSR Network thanks all of you for joining us today to mark this milestone at the Sustainability Oscars of the MENA region.
أصبحت الشبكة العربية للمسؤولية الاجتماعية للمؤسسات منذ عام 2008 منارة للتميز من خلال العمل الدؤوب لإبراز هذه المبادرة العربية الفريدة والرابطة المعروفة بالجائزة العربية للمسؤولية الاجتماعية للمؤسسات. تمثل الجائزة العربية منصة لعرض أفضل الممارسات البيئية والاجتماعية وحوكمة الشركات في المنطقة العربية للوقوف على أهمية هذه الجائزة ومشاركة أبرز تفاصيل هذه الرحلة التي دامت ل13 عاما. أرحب على المنصة بالسيدة حبيبة المرعشي الرئيس والمدير التنفيذي للشبكة العربية للمسؤولية الاجتماعية للمؤسسات لإعطاء الكلمة الرئيسية.
Since 2008, the Arabian Corporate Social Responsibility Network has been a beacon of excellence, working actively and passionately through this unique and trend-setting pan-Arabic initiative we all know as the Arabia CSR Awards. They are the best showcase for environmental, social, and governance best practices in the Arab region. To reflect on the importance of these awards and share the highlights of 13 glorious years of this successful journey, may I please welcome on stage Mrs. Habiba al-Marashi, President and CEO of Arabia CSR Network, to give us an overview of the 13th cycle of the awards. Please welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Your Excellency, Sheikh Salim Sultan Zakar Qasimi, President of Ras Al Khaimah Civil Aviation and member of the Executive Council of the Government of Ras Al Khaimah. Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the annual awarding ceremony of the Arabia CSR Award. Today, we have gathered here to felicitate the finalists and the winners of the 13th cycle of the Arabia CSR Award. I would like to start with a special note of thanks to our sponsors. The award this year was sponsored by McDonald's UAE and TriStar Group. I would like to thank our official communications partner, Astar BCW. The award this year has received tremendous support from several media houses from within the UAE and beyond. Needless to say, this cycle came with many challenges. We have never faced any of these challenges in the entire history of this award. From getting organizations to apply, jury to evaluate, organizing the awards clinic, and today's gala, securing the commissions, the support and the sponsorship. Every step has been a challenge. What a different world we live in today, and what a year it has been. While we are here today to celebrate the achievements of fully deserving of the recognition for these organizations, there are still many more that are facing breakdown and collapse. By now, everybody knows the fearsome statistics of the novel coronavirus. Data shows more than 35 million people have been affected and the numbers are rising. Countries are being brought to their knees societies facing new normal of distancing, isolation, quarantine. Dystopia has become a reality as human suffering acquires a new dimension. Here in Dubai, the much-awaited Expo 2020 had to be postponed to 2021. The anticipated economic losses from the delay of only this single event is big indeed. One can easily imagine the multiple hits that have railed economies across the globe and what it means for the 3 Ps, people, planet, and prosperity. Early estimates predicted that should the virus become a global pandemic, most economies will lose at least 2.4% of the value of their gross domestic product by over the year 2020. Millions of people between 35 to 60 million will be pushed into extreme poverty. Reversing the declining global trend of the last 20 years, 10 million of the world's children could face acute malnutrition, and the number of people facing acute food insecurity could almost double relative to 2019, rising to 265 million. These are frightening numbers. Closure of the schools has affected 90% of the children's population, more than 1.6 billion children and youth, according to UNESCO 2020 report. There are also the aggregate effects across economies and societies: economic recession, falling public revenues, shrinking fiscal space, price increases, quantity disruptions, balance of payments due to capital flow reversals, collapses in tourism, decreases in community exports, remittances, and many more. Yet, there has been some small positive. According to research, air quality has improved across the world, and daily global CO2 emissions fell to an estimated 17% in early April, relative to the mean levels of 2019. Current estimates for 2020 says that CO2 emissions are 4 to 7% lower than last year. However, are these improvements permanent, or are they just temporary and transitory, with no real impact on climate change? As countries are being compelled to lift the lockdown in order to reduce the risks, businesses are encouraged to actively and activate contingency plans that include separating all essential operations from non-essential operations and focusing on high-priority areas and clients. According to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs special policy brief that they launched, which was called Responding to COVID-19 and Recovering Better. It presented a detailed analysis and solid evidence needed for effective decision-making on a number of critical social and economic issues, including designing inclusive stimulus packages, preventing a global debt crisis, and that is a very frightening perspective, supporting countries in special situations, protecting the most vulnerable groups of people, strengthening the role of science, technology, and institutions for an effective response, and working together to build back better and build forward better and achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development as per the Secretary General of the United Nations. According to UNDS as well, countries, as they begin to move towards recovery, coherent actions can place the world on a robust trajectory towards achieving sustainable development. The conclusion is eventual impacts will depend on how severe the initial effects are, whether the recovery is gradual or is rapid, or whether we return to the pre-pandemic world that we knew, or we will move to a one that is more sustainable and more equitable. Herein lays the biggest challenge of the century. How do we move away from business as usual strategies and shift a realistic way forward towards achieving the 2030 Agenda of this So really, this is our last opportunity to act on the decade of action of Sustainable Development Goals. The decade of action makes our work at the ABSSR network increasingly important and relevant. Our efforts to activate corporate social responsibility and sustainability in this part of the world through networking, through engaging, through skills and capacity building, development, continue to be centered around the role of businesses in sustainable development and the triple pillars of economy, society, and the environment. In these trying times, I'm very proud to say that the ABSSR network has shown tremendous resolve and deep commitment to help organizations to become more sustainable and more responsible and more transparent. Embracing the paradigm shift that is described as the new normal, we have revamped our operations, complying with regulatory requirements. We have included working from home options and abided by all hygiene and safety protocols within the workplace. We have also learned to organize and optimize our resources and efforts. We have been able to carry our scheduled activities of the year through the use of remote and online channels. Our series of trainings and workshops, our consulting projects, our 13 ABSSR awards, the work, have all been duly undertaken virtually, and we will continue, inshallah, unabated throughout the rest of the year. The only thing that we have had to postpone was the ABSSR forum and moving it to October next year, inshallah. That need for the change was as per the feedback that we received from our different stakeholders and the recommendation that came from the relevant government bodies. And we are very engaging with our stakeholders in our different phases. It is really a shared pride that we stand here together, not only of our own resilience, but also for the relentless pursuit of sustainable development by a group of very, very committed and responsible entities, even when faced with these unprecedented challenges of the pandemic. I salute those brave hearts that have gone out of their way to dedicate people, time, and efforts to put together their narratives for the demanding application of these awards and collect the evidences required from different sources. During the most critical period, April to June, of course, with comparison to different cycles of this award, this cycle received less number than we are usually accustomed to. But the applications came from 34 industries and sectors. They demonstrated high level of expertise, even leadership through strategic practices and outstanding outcomes. The applications came from 9 Arab countries, with the UAE registering the highest number of applications. Majority of the applicants who are what we call returnees, it means entities that have applied before in the different cycles in the past. This factor is very important for us. It shows that these organizations understood and have seen the value added for their operations by applying to this award. That is why we have come back to it. This factor is already actually taken into consideration by the judges when they score them, to look at what was the change, what is the improvement, what is the development that has happened in every sector and in every aspect of the operations of this organization, and what was the progress achieved. So this is all being taken into considerations. But for organizations that have won particularly, the evaluation is much more rigorous, and any substantive progress or lack of it is noted duly and taken into consideration by scoring standard. The criteria and methodology of evaluation is reviewed annually by the ABSSR network and by the award secretariat to ensure that we are following all the leading and most recent sustainability standards and frameworks globally. Extra points will allot to those entities that have taken the courage to issue sustainability reports. As far as the judging process is concerned, we have, of course, an expert panel of jury members from different parts of the world. The final results are For us at the Arabia CSR Network, every single entity that applies is a champion. And we would like to acknowledge all the applications that have come from as far as North Africa to Levant to the GCC countries. You will be all receiving detailed feedback of the jury on USPs. We have already couriered it to all the entities that are from outside the country who could not join us, who are actually joining us virtually before yesterday, so we should be with them this morning, to ensure that you work on the good work that you have started. I would like finally to thank FARNET, our long-term partner, who has ensured that this event is held and it is a carbon-neutral event here in Riyadh. All the factors that I have mentioned have contributed to cement the position of the Arabia CSR Awards as the region's leading Oscars and earned the reputation of being the Arab region's own homegrown sustainability benchmark. I thank you all for being with us today, and I look forward to your continuing participation in the awards. And I hope that the feedback that you will receive will help enhance the work, your operations, and put you on the leadership trajectory. Thank you very much.
شكرا يا حبيبي المرشحين لمشاركتنا بتفاصيل هذه الدورة من الجائزة وآخر التطورات. أدعو جميع ضيوفنا الكرام للاستمتاع بالمقبلات وبالبعثات. سنباشر التكريم للدفعة الأولى من المؤسسات الأخضر.
Thank you, Mrs. Tafila, for sharing these key highlights. I invite you all to join the first course of this lunch. Afterwards, we will start the recording session. Thank you.
Dramatic change.